right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Wolverine Horrocks.
Hello, my very good friend, old Rocky Rainey there. So it's great to meet you again. So for our bonus episode, so we're covering The Bachelorette, season 16, episode 5. And we were giving Bennett a little bit of stick, weren't we, about his spelling, Chris? Do you want to explain to our listeners why we were a little bit later recording today? What you were up to?
What were you trying to say?
What did you text me with, Chris? In fact, should I?
Oh,
Should I?
right, yes. Yeah,
Right,
you
right. So,
read it
so
out,
I'll
Dave, yeah.
share. I'll share. I'm sat there, getting ready to go, and I get some message from Chris to say, "Can we go at 11? Sam wants Christmas sex while we're out." Sorry. Now, for the dirty-minded of you, of course, it is SECS, sex. But I'm reading it, and I'm just like, all right then, fair enough. Good luck. What were you actually doing, Chris? Well,
Dave.
actually, maybe I don't want to know.
Well, it's my birthday on Monday, Dave, so I was hoping for it before then. But anyway, it's I meant
Are you
abbreviation of
like?
deck.
I thought you were like Santa Claus and you just come once a year.
Oh, 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 oh.
Oh, the old Christmas cracker jokes are out.
It's funny, we think they're really funny. Everyone else is like, this is fucking terrible listening. But anyway, yeah. I meant, David, as abbreviation of decorations, I meant DEX, DECS, but when I sent it, I thought, oh, you're going to be pissing yourself.
I was, to be fair. Tickled me now. It's gonna keep tickling me that all day. So, Chris, on our bonus episode, we like to, go through any emails that we got. So, what have we got today?
Well, we've got one from our good friend Lauren, Dave, and she's simply entitled it, The People Need the Bonus. So the official Wolverine and Rocky Rainey, even across the pond, here's hoping you heard our collective American sigh of distress at the lack of bonus episode last week. We ungrateful ex-children of Britain are still trying to twist the head off our parasite orange tick. Dave. It's laborious work, and we need you to remind us of the lighter things. Here are some ramblings to consider. Chasen being chasing that clout. He sponsored his own Instagram post while the episode aired. He previously entered a knockoff Bachelor competition on Instagram called the Sutras and won, only to dump the winner as soon as he got on the real show. An ex-Bachelorette, Becca, knows him personally and says she wouldn't want him dating her friends. Nuff said. Team Ed and Carlos. Also, don't forget Chasen is the one who told Claire he was bullied and never went to prom and started the whole declare lie about going to the prom controversy. The prom controversy, Dave. We've had enough spell checks today. So basically, everything Chasen touches turns to crap. Noah and the stash. I get why Chris would think this was planned because Noah looks so pervy with the stash. And why on earth would he ever wanted it to be without a motive? Except, remember, Noah has 11 siblings and a twin. My guess is he learned to get any attention in any way possible, and a porn stash is a particular fruitful move in that regard. Side note, I certainly felt a twinge of sympathy pain when Tasha had to kiss him right after shaving the stash off. You can bet she got some stray hairs in her mouth. Yak.
We've all had to
I've
deal
never
with
kissed
those.
anyone. Yeah, wow. Fuck me, Dave. There's definitely some Christmas jokes going down here. She puts Ben. The show is clearly trying to make Ben happen, but he was very whiny for me. He also told Tasha she had animal magnetism. I'll take Smoke Show over that any day, thanks. So who does that leave? Ivan of Chess. He looks like a boy, but seems smart. And the most underrated of all, Joe. He's gold. Funny, self-depreciating, and a doctor. Don't sleep on Joe. His commentary on the Gladiator death match was endearing as hell. Anyway, that's the opus from over here. Every time you miss a bonus episode and leave me to actually have to work on the weekend, the ensuing missive will get longer. You've been warned. Don't let the phoenix out. Oh, one more thing. Please do a rundown of where these men would be from if they were from the UK. Would love to know the regional stereotype analogues of our friend Lauren, Dave. So that's a cracking email. And I hope I did it justice reading that out. So, Dave, Chasen, he's a bellend, and I think we can all agree that, as much as I didn't think much of Ed in this episode, with this early this week, he's a bellend. He's an absolute fame hungry Instagram fucking whore in it. It's all come to light now that he's just there for the clicks, the attention, the likes on the show, and I mean, look. He's a good-looking guy. I still say he's got a bit of the Val Kilmer's about him, Dave. The look and everything. But
Yeah, yeah.
what a cock. And I've seen some of the stuff on Instagram as well. He's a bellend. So I think Lauren is correct on that.
Yeah, but I think I agree, and I saw him do one like TikTok little dance. It looked fucking
Oh,
ridiculous, and I'm
no.
like, the Wolverine, really? That's what people call you? And he's doing one of those daft little TikTok dances. Honestly, but the thing is, I think he was intended to come off like a prick, wasn't he? And it wouldn't have surprised me if the producers weren't copying and pasting the old Wolverine again and again, just to really
Yeah.
ram it home. That I still think again, what a terrible, if you're gonna liken in this so-called romantic setting, Chris, surely Wolverine, this fucking raging animal, is not the best one to say, the best sort of superhero character to liken yourself to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's weird, Dave. And we love comic books, don't we? We know Wolverine and we love him. So Jason, he's definitely not fucking Wolverine, Dave. He's more like Rogue or someone like that.
It's Toad.
Yeah, Toad, actually. Yeah, sorry. I'm doing Rogue a disservice. I apologise, Rogue. Yeah, probably Toad, Dave, actually. You're right. Got snivelling fucking tongue, and the little host.
I
Yeah,
mean, we
anyway.
do have Bennett, don't we? Who's got a bit of a Clark Kent about him,
Yep.
or Christopher Reeve Superman. Who do you reckon you'd be, Chris? No,
What
no, just
character?
to throw it out. Yeah, yeah, superhero character.
Well,
You could have had time to think about this if we actually did any preparation,
planned
but
it.
yeah, just I'll ask you first because I think, oh shit, I need to think of one as well. Go on, but
I,
you first.
I think I would love to say Superman because he's my favourite, but I would like to think the Incredible Hulk, Dave, because I can only be nice for so long. I'm not 10 foot tall and got massive green muscles, but I wish, Dave. But yeah, the Hulk, I think. What about yourself?
I think I'd have to go. Yeah, probably Rogue. Socially distant from everyone. She is a socially distant ninja, isn't she? So, but I mean, she was portrayed pretty badly in the character in the movies, but she's always one of my favorites from the comics. But I can't actually think. I was going to say like Charles Xavier. Uh,
Well, you're the clever one of the two of us, Dave. So yeah, yeah, Xavier,
maybe
I'll
maybe
go with
Iron
that.
Man, Chris. Maybe Iron Man.
Yeah,
I'd settle
yeah,
for that.
yeah. I'd go with that actually, Dave. Especially when you've got the bins on. Yeah, I'll have that. And you've had you have the old little bit of facial
Little
hair going on
beardy,
there, Dave.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think
I'll go.
I'll
I'll
go
go
Tony
Iron Man.
Stark. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that, Dave. Yeah, Hulk and Iron Man. Yeah, that's. I'm not sure anyone else is going to buy that, and Sam certainly is not going to buy that when I say it when she listens to this, Dave. But I think looking at the guys, I think Lauren's come up with a good point, and we talked about this previously, didn't we? When we did one of the other shows about where they would be from regionally. Now, Chasen Dave has got to be Essex, down south, who's an absolute pretty boy, who's just all in the front window, and there's fuck all going on in the back. He's an absolute joker. So for me, I think he would be Essex.
I'm struggling a little bit more because when we did this for Love Island, we actually got to see, a few of the different characters, few of the different contestants for quite a bit of screen time, didn't we? But we've had
Yeah,
that much of Claire and Dale. We're just starting to get to know these guys now, aren't we? So I don't know because he's Jason's that kind of. He strikes me as this kind of West Coast surfer dude. I don't know. I'm maybe thinking maybe a bit of Cornwall, something like that. Someone who surfs all at the weekends because you know it, there's not that much going on upstairs, is there, with Chasen? And on reflection, I was thinking about this, about the fact that you've got the smart guys, you've got like so-called smart guys, you've got Bennett and Ed taking the piss out of him because he uses the same words to describe Claire and also Tasha. But the reality is, Chris, he doesn't have that many words to choose from. So that's when he comes up with the whole smoke show thing, because he reached, reached for that one, and he was like, "Oh, I haven't used this one before." So I'd say probably more Cornwall. It's a bit of a surfer crowd down there. I'm going to go Cornwall for him.
That's interesting, that Dave, because I was thinking more along the lines of the wannabe. Most of the wannabes are from Essex, aren't they, these days, or Newcastle? I watch a lot of Geordie Shore, so there's loads of them. Either they all cross over against these shows completely. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could go with that one as well, to be honest. He's not quite he's not got the fake tan though. And the brilliant white
no, that's true.
teeth, and the bling, the gold chains and stuff. So if he had that, a bit fake tan, whitened his teeth, then he'd be all in Essex.
That's true, Dave. Now I'm thinking of Ed. Now this is open for discussion because Ed's a little bit of an aggressive, bit of a Tasmanian devil guy. I know he bottled it when it came to the wrestling match and pulled out the old shoulder injury, Dave. But I'm thinking he's a bit of a Scot, a bit of a Glaswegian Ed the Ball, Dave. A bit aggressive.
No.
But
Yeah,
no.
fucking Ed, Glaswegian. I tell you what, fucking a Glaswegian, half the size of all of those guys would have been straight in that ring. They'd have got a
For a
Glaswegian
punch up.
kiss. Yeah. Like, we've not
I'm way off
started
here.
yet.
Yeah.
We
Fucking
haven't
Ed putting me
started.
for nothing.
Get
Yeah.
back in your lane. So yeah, for those listeners, a Glaswegian kiss is a headbutt right on the nose. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Bad call that from me, Dave. I just remember the aggressive side of him, but yeah, I think you need to just call these out because mine are way off.
No, no. so, so I think I'm being Ed and Bennett here, aren't I? I'm just snarking at what everyone else is doing. So no, I'm thinking. Well, let's choose an easy one. So someone like Bennett. Obviously, he's Harvard, isn't he? I'm going to go Cambridge. Somewhere from the
I was going
three
to say that.
counties.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
somewhere with a well-renowned university. Um, Thinks quite a lot of himself, looks a bit down on everyone else. I'm sort of getting that feeling.
yeah.
I thought in the first few episodes I was really liking Bennett, but I just felt both him and Ed in this last episode, they were just sneering a bit at other people, and I didn't like that. So yeah, I'm having Bennett as Cambridge.
I was going to say Cambridge or Oxford, Dave. I was going to say middle class. Fucking parents have given that big silver spoon. Friends of the fucking queen and all that bullshit. Absolutely goes to all the gentry stuff and probably plays polo and all that fucking bollocks. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. I will say, Dave, my favourite guy at the moment is Doctor Joe, and he
Yeah.
is a great bloke, really funny, really likable. So I'm saying he's from Manchester, Dave.
See, I was gonna claim Joe, right? Okay, so I was gonna claim
Scouser.
Joe
Yeah.
for a Scouser. So So I don't know if you've noticed that because a lot of so I've lived in both cities. Obviously, born in Liverpool, but lived in Manchester for years. And what I've always found quite interesting, a lot of the Chinese population in Manchester are more kind of first and second generation, so they don't come with the proper Manchester accents. Whereas, for whatever historical reason, I'm not quite sure. I guess they must have been working on the shipyards or something. But a lot of the Chinese guys and I'd meet in Liverpool had proper Scouse accents. They'd obviously been there for like 3 or 4 generations or something. So that's how I'm kind of differentiating them, and they come with that proper sharp, quick wit as well. And I was actually thinking that, Ed again, he kind of he looks down at everyone else. He's all mouth, he's all fur coat and no knickers, as they say. Sneering at other people, but when it comes to it, he's shying off in the corner. So I was thinking Ed's at Manchester myself.
Fuck you, Dave. Fuck off. No,
It
Dave,
always
you're
comes
definitely
down
a
to
fucking
Liverpool and
comedian.
Manchester,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah, yeah. It's just the football rivalry comes in. We can only keep that mask up for so long, Dave. You fucking no chance he's from Manchester. I think you've hit on a good point, though, Dave. And I'm not going to forget what you've just said. I'm lining up some scout jokes soon. But is is the other guys are quite forgettable because, like you've just said, we haven't seen enough of him to say, "Oh well, he's a good guy," or he's this, he's that. A lot of them, obviously we had Riley at the start. He was quite in there with Claire. We had Blake, didn't we? They've not really featured, and obviously Thingy left as well. The guy who was the fucking serial killer who had all these demons and was some sort of hitchhiker or something. The one who said, "I just don't want to talk about things I've got in my past." I can't remember what his bloody name is nowadays. Was it Joe? I can't remember what his bloody name is
There was
that guy.
there was
The one
Jason, wasn't there?
Jason, is that him? The one who had this fucking 80s B movie backstory about some
I
fucking,
th I think it
inside for
was him.
20 years or something. Yeah, him. So I don't know where he'd be from, Dave, but he'd be someone you want to stay clear of anyway.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe Noah, he doesn't give a shit what anyone else thinks and, just jumps right in there despite the fact all the other guys have been practicing, they've been training, they're all oiled up and stuff. He just launches in there in his jeans and stuff. I was thinking maybe Newcastle.
Yeah, you know what, Dave? That's a good call. Yeah, because Newcastle people are probably one of the best people in the whole of the UK who just don't give a shit what people think about and do. They live their life a certain way. They're all good people. They're all quite funny as well. And yeah, I'll go with that, Dave. And they don't hold back, did he? As well, I think most of them are quite upfront. If they think something's wrong, they'll go for you.
Yeah, I remember I was on this. This is a few years ago now, but I was on this management course, and there was this guy from Newcastle there, and the teacher. It was all like wannabe middle managers who were there, and but you had this guy from Newcastle from the building trade, from construction, and
Yeah,
we sort of got onto the subject of like bullying in the workplace, and you could tell that the lecturer, the guy who was giving the course, he just couldn't comprehend what he was being told because when you're talking about kind of bullying, mostly he was talking about verbals, whereas this guy from Newcastle, I remember him saying, "Oh, I like you just come in, give you a bit of a dig, and then that's the end of it." And he's like, "What? Do you mean physical violence?" I was like, "Oh, I but not nothing serious, like." It was so funny. I've just sat there with a big fucking smirk on my face because I'm like, these are two worlds that never normally meet.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, any others? I can't think. I mean,
Well, I was
Tasha
going to
might
say
be. Oh, sorry. Go on. Go on.
no, sorry, go on, Dave. No, no, sorry. I was going to tell them the story, which you've heard a few times. I don't think I've said it on this podcast, but we're talking about regional stuff and how the Manchester and Liverpool divide, Dave. And obviously, I was in quite a big one where I caused a bit of a ruckus, Dave, which nearly ended up in a punch up. Was two? I think I've told you this before. I know I have,
Yeah,
and I
but
don't think I've
I
said it
don't
on this.
think it
But
was
you know
on
what I'm
this
going to say.
podcast. Yep.
I
Yep.
don't think anybody's heard this. So, um, Chris decided, you know what? I fancy going on Big Brother. It was around 2001, 2002. Big Brother was massive in the UK. It was as big in the UK as Love Island is now. It was everybody watched it, Dave. We've talked about it previously, obviously, with some of the shows we reviewed on this podcast. And I went to the audition, and Chris is there, and you've got to do stupid things where they put a stick in the two people are holding like a bamboo stick a foot high, and you've got to jump over it and say something extravagant about yourself or something people wouldn't know and all this. And basically, everyone in the audition was talking about fucking sex and, just being completely outlandish, Dave, just ridiculous. And then there was all games where you've got to hold hands, 10 people, and you've got to try and move without letting go of your hands. And people were like standing over. It was just ridiculous, this audition. But they had cameras on you and all this. And mine was going well. And Chris being Chris, he's there, cracking jokes and dropping stuff in there and thinking, I've got a chance. Now, there's plenty of people who are far better looking than me. They're proper models in there, men and women. They were in Manchester spending the day there, auditioning for TV shows. One guy actually ended up on a regional soap from Liverpool, Brookside. He was one guy sat next to me, a lovely guy. And he ended up the last year or so being in Brookside before it finished in 2003. Everything was going well, Dave. And then they did this thing at the end, and they sort of separated the room, and they said, "One of yous are staying, one of yous are going." And they went, "We're going to go around the room now. We want to know what everybody, one thing that you hate. Don't think about it. Go." And we went round the room, and they're asking different people. And it comes to Chris, and Chris, being the big Manchester United fan, said, "I hate Scousers, Dave." At which point, a bloke stood up and wanted to fight me, Dave, on the camera, and it had to be separated. And I went from being, which I think I was, I went from being in the, yeah, you're going through to the next round, to nope, he's not. And I didn't, you never saw me again, Dave. But this guy was a pro footballer, or so he was going mental. "You fucking mank bastard," and all this. I've come in, how dare you, and all this. I was like, oh no, it wasn't one of my finest moments, Dave. So that regional rivalry. And when I work in Liverpool, I'll go in Liverpool and I'll purposely put some sort of United thing on. I've done it where I've gone to Vans and said, "Can you fill that up for me, United Cup?" And I've had Liverpool fans flatly refused. I'm terrible. But anyway, I've not been punched. I don't know. But yeah, so the regional stuff is quite important in the UK, isn't it? Especially ours, because of the football, the biggest rival clubs in the whole of, one of the biggest rivalries in the whole of the world, really.
I think so. I mean, you think you've got Glasgow and uh, Glasgow Celtic and Glasgow Rangers, haven't you? That's quite a
Yeah.
fierce rivalry, a lot tied up with religion as well. I guess you got Barcelona and Real Madrid. Who else? One of the ones that always surprises me, Chris, and it's because they're crap, no one cares. But Portsmouth and Southampton, I
Oh
think
God,
that's
yeah,
got
yeah,
similar rivalry
tasty.
because it's not just about the football, is it? It's about the cities and the history and all that stuff as well. I think it is quite interesting. But what I find fascinating, and I used to get a lot more het up about it in past years, but the the rivalry is between Manchester United and Liverpool Football Club, but it's just not as much between, like, say, Liverpool and Manchester City or Manchester United and Everton.
Yeah,
It's weird though, isn't it? Because they always say,
it's just
like, there's probably more Everton fans in Liverpool than Liverpool fans.
Yeah, and I think as well, Dave, Manchester City fans try and jump on the bandwagon because they've been a bit better than us. The last Manchester United for the last few years, they try and do that rivalry, don't they? I know we're on a completely different rabbit hole, Dave, but you're right. And the thing is as well. Let's just call it as it is. The main problem was that the song that's Liverpool's anthem, "You'll Never Walk Alone," was actually nicked from United, Dave, and that's where it comes from. So it's just one of them things.
What? Fuck off!
That's true. That is 100% true, Dave. Know your history, my friend. I'm
I'm
telling you,
gonna have to research that, but we've
Scousers are going to nick everything, Dave.
probably
Anyway, but
turned off
carry on.
all the listeners. But if you hadn't
Yeah, we
guessed,
have.
so Chris and I are on the opposite sides of the divide, but somehow we still remain friends.
That's going to bug the fuck out of you now, Mr. Horrocks. Anyway, let's get back to the show.
So we did have another email, and this is from our friend Dee Dee as well. And she says she's not on Instagram, but she did see this post from Dr. Joe, and she might have to follow him. She says, "I really enjoyed his commentary in this last episode and love his sense of humour. He may take Bennett's place as number one in my heart." Now, if I can try and describe this post for you, Chris. So, obviously, Joe was up against Easy, wasn't he? And, Easy's one of the bigger, musclier chaps in there. And
Yeah,
Joe's just posted up, so who wins? And he's got their stats. So, Easy's 29, Joe's 36. Easy's 6'1", Joe's 6 foot. So not much in it there, but then it's got Easy is 225 pounds fasted, and Joe's got 185 pounds soaking wet. It says, and the best bit, my favourite bit is it's got history. Easy's a standout college athlete. Joe picked first once at gym. Oh, sorry, picked first in gym once. So I like that. I like a bit of self-deprecating, and he did come across quite well. I don't think he's got a chance in hell, to be honest. Just purely going off the screen time, but he is quite funny, and I'm sure his stock will go up, won't it, after this show?
yeah, it will, Dave. And Dave, nice people rise to the top, don't they? let's be honest, he's a good guy, and he don't take himself too seriously. And I think that's the whole point of this, isn't it? Of the show. And I mean, what do you think now, Dave, of like Tasha as a contestant, as a person? I know I've mentioned this before, but I think she's a nice girl. I really do. She's not as obvious as what Claire was, even though she's probably playing the games and she's prompted by the producers. I think the way she conducts herself is just night and day, in it. We've had the drama, thankfully, by the guys. She's sort of coasting. It looks like we're going to get a bit of something in next week's episode, but which is great. So what happens, I do not know, but I think they're going to try and get to her, the producers, somehow.
Yeah, I think I can't make my mind up if she's just genuinely a lot more authentic, and she just seems a lot more mature as well. A lot less likely to stamp her feet. If she doesn't get her own way. But she is an influencer, Chris. So there's a part of me that just thinks, is she just playing the game really well? Because I,
Yeah.
I thought that after this last episode, she seems to have good chemistry with a few of the guys. I mean, she practically did the old alien face hugger on Brandon, didn't she? Yeah, he was
Yes.
talking about something, which I thought was a weird approach. He was talking about how they're both divorced and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's a bit rubbish, and she just ends up leaping on him. But then she seems to have like good chemistry with the likes of Zach as well. So I don't think I could call it right now, but I guess that's a long answer to say yes. I do think she comes across a lot better, but I've not seen enough to work out in my own head whether that's because she's completely authentic or she's just really good at it. And whereas Claire's a little bit less mature, and just more likely to stamp her feet and cause drama.
Yeah, exactly, Dave. And I think it's like anything. If it's like working somewhere, if you're going to come in and replace a manager who's been an absolute bastard or someone like that, my philosophy always is this: just do exactly the opposite of what made everybody fucking hate them and piss them all off. And you're going to be on to a winner. And that's, I think, exactly what she's done, Dave. She's not daft. She'll have known what's gone on with Claire. I know we're watching it week by week in context. She was obviously isolating within the compound or doing something because of the potential. You'd call that out. She's not. That's exactly what you would do, Dave. It's just completely using your common sense in it. And I think you'll get more of a reaction from the public than what Claire's got, because Claire's completely divided the Bachelor Nation, hasn't she?
Yeah, yeah. I hate myself for it, Chris, but I can't help but have a sneaky peek at what's going on there, and I don't know. I can't work out what the actual truth is. I still think it smells a bit funny, but you got different reports. You've seen Dale out with these different models holding hands and stuff, being quite close, and then you get other reports that they're going to make a big announcement soon. So knowing from what we know of Claire, it wouldn't surprise me if she forgot her uh, uh, protection, and she's ended up pregnant, snagged him. But who knows? So yeah, no, it's great. Again, I was wondering going into this what a weekly show would be like for us, because we're used to doing the Love Island, we're used to doing 6 days out of 7, and there's new content coming out every day. But I think because of the size of the Bachelor Nation and all the discussion, it still keeps me interested for the whole week. I think it's fantastic. I'm glad we set out on doing it.
No, me too. Honestly, I'm exactly the same. It's something I wasn't sure of because it's a slightly different format, but it's perfect, Dave. And everyone's great. I love the passion of everyone on our Facebook page. Please get over there, guys. Chris and Dave's reality TV cast. We're on there. Come and join the group. It's a private group. It's just us guys all talking. Our good friend Charlie runs it. And we just chat about what we've seen, what people have heard, the rumors. And it's just like gossiping over a garden fence to your neighbor, I think, Dave, sometimes. I love it.
Yeah, no, it is good. Now, Chris, we did have one more question actually for today's episode. And this question simply says, how does Chris not have the presenting job on Love Island USA yet? Please help. And that is from Christian Phelps.
Well, Dave, You know what was even better was one of our good friends responded underneath, and I think she misread it. I think she thought I meant Chris Harrison, and she went, "Oh, I'd love to see Chris doing his strut, the model strut they do on Love Island," but it
Slow
was actually
motion,
me.
sexy
Yeah,
presenter walk.
yeah, it was actually me that I was talking about, being the egomaniac that I am. But yeah, I'm still waiting for the call, Dave.
I think you need to get a new audition in.
And I've said it once, Dave, and I'll say it again. Fuck you,
Yep.
all right? So like David, if you want to come on and abuse me or anything, there's not a problem. You can send us a tweet, guys, or on Instagram at CD Realitycast. Or if you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And honestly, it's such great fun. And this bonus episode is dictated by you, as the listeners. We'll always jump on and do a bonus episode. And our friend Lauren Davis is just going to keep sending us emails. So we do it and we'll always do it. Even if we get one email, we'll do it at any response and we'll jump on and do like an extra one at the weekend. So I hope you've enjoyed it today, guys. And sorry that I've gone on about football. But at the end of the day, we just like to put a bit of meat and bones on about where me and Dave are from and our friendly rivalry, Dave.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's all tongue in cheek, isn't it? There's never any malice, but I hope we get fucking spanked tonight.
Touche, my friend. Touche. The day
And
I
I'm on
support
about the
Liverpool.
football. I'm on about the football.
Yeah,
as
well, yeah. Well, I'm some sex out, Dave. So yeah.
All right, mate. It's been great to speak to you again. I'll see you next time.
Bye.